Nestled along the western and northern shores of Drummer Cove on the upper reaches of the Blackfish Creek estuary stretches the Drummer Cove Conservation Area and its walking trail. By 2015, the Wellfleet Conservation Trust and the town of Wellfleet acquired a string of properties which now total over a dozen acres of land and a walking easement. This has created a loop more than a mile long. One major section traces the shoreline, and another follows Pine Avenue. The main trailhead is located at the end of Pond Avenue, where there is enough parking for 3 cars. There is also a second parking area with enough space for 2 cars behind the old Pond Hill School, now the red-painted South Wellfleet Neighborhood and Social Union, just off Route 6. The Drummer Cove Conservation Area includes salt marsh, tidal flats, coastal bank, and predominantly mixed oak and pine woods on its upland, so the flora and fauna are quite varied. Lying within the recharge area of Drummer Cove, these conservation lands are part of the Wellfleet Harbor Area of Critical Environmental Concern. In addition, this is also a Massachusetts Commonwealth designated priority habitat for rare species. During your stroll along Drummer Cove, you can expect to see diverse shorebirds foraging for their next meal, and at the water's edge will probably encounter an army of fiddler crabs scurrying in and out of their burrows. Distributed along this trail, there are 4 benches to sit upon and reflect. Each offers a different prospect as you look out across the water or through the woodland. Drummer Cove was probably formed by a huge chunk of ice during the last glacial age, similar to Kettle Ponds, but was later connected to the tidal portions of Wellfleet Harbor. Over the years, the cove has silted in, but in the 18th and 19th centuries, there were reports of larger ships overwintering in the protected cove. The descent to the shoreline can be very steep in places, so people with limited mobility might avoid that part of the trail. There is a gentle access at the most southwestern portion of the trail along Pond Avenue. Like the rest of Wellfleet Harbor, the range between low and high tide in Drummer Cove is about 10 feet, so you may see oozy wetland flats or a bright blue bay depending on when you visit. Further, at the very highest tides, the section of the trail along the shore of Drummer Cove will be submerged, so please consult the local tide table in advance. The current trail follows an old cart path near the main trailhead parking area on Pond Avenue. In the mid to late 1800s, this path connected Pleasant Point Landing to the Pond Hill School. Children from other parts of Wellfleet were dropped by water at Pleasant Point and walked to the school. The Pond Hill School building became an extension of the main library in town, and then became the locus of the South Wellfleet Neighborhood and Social Union. This association and the neighbors have been very active in preserving traditions about Drummer Cove and were instrumental in helping tie all the parts of the trail together. State grants also provided funding for a couple of lots acquired for conservation. In order to protect the fragile ecosystems in this area and respect private properties, please remain on the established trails at all times. Town regulations permit dogs as long as they remain under control, but ATVs and other motorized vehicles are not allowed. As always in wooded areas, be careful of ticks and poison ivy. We appreciate your support and cooperation and hope you enjoy your time at the Drummer Cove Conservation Area.